Listen, I was I had a brain freeze for a minute there. Good
I
afternoon.
saw it. I
Listen,
saw this. Is
I
okay. Well,
literally
let her gather her
took like a
thoughts.
second trying to remember what it was I was doing because I was thinking about everything. Good afternoon, Ronnie. How you doing?
Good afternoon, Yasheka. I am grateful. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I've seen better days. A little under the weather, um, but I got tested twice, and everything is negative. I think I'm just coming down with a common cold, and I think for a minute I forgot that they still existed, but common
Everybody
cold
did. Yeah.
exists. Yeah, yeah. And good evening, everyone out there. This is Yasheka Ronnie's dating discussion, and welcome to day 6 of the 12 Days Till Christmas series. And today we are in the last day of our block 2, which of our 4 blocks, which is Everyone Has Needs. And over the last couple of days, we've introduced Everyone Has Needs, with opening up with dating needs on the day 4, day 1 of this block. And then yesterday, Ronnie did one by himself while I was under the weather, understanding your love language. And so today we are doing a copulation of both of them, understanding your dating needs and your love languages, and how the two combined together helps you in your dating ventures, right? Because we all need a little help in our dating ventures. And then that way you can have a better understanding of who you are, what you need, and have the courage and the idea so that you can go out there and ask for what you want and don't settle for anything less. And just as always, if you are catching us live, make sure that you leave us a little bit of message, or say something below to let us know that you're here. And if you're catching on a replay, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube, be sure to hashtag replay so that we can know that you are here. And also, if you are catching us live, be sure to grant StreamYard access to you so that we can see who you are when you leave a response. And so, again, I'm Yasheka Foster, affectionately known as the Artist of Dating, and I empower successful women to date through self discovery, while finding the love of their life and having the tools to balance it all. And my handsome co host.
Yes. Good morning, Ronnie Walker, Master Coach of Exceptional Relationships, Dating, and Sex. And I approach the space of dating through self development.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Ronnie. So, yes, the recap of what we talked about on day 4, block 2 of Everyone Has Needs. And we were talking about the dating needs. And so we were talking about, if you are a person that needs this or that, and you can go ahead and check that video out. I'll be sure to link it in this description. Just talking about the different type of needs a person has when they're dating, someone that kind of like balances them out. And when we were talking about the dating needs, it kind of tied into understanding your love language. So if you are a person that's not really good with balancing a checkbook, maybe you want to date someone who is good at balancing a checkbook. And then we talked about the other day some different types of the person that you are when you show up, whether you are a caregiver, an alpha person, or whatever. Um, um, if you are a alpha person or a caregiver, or the codependent, the pushover, whatever. And so all this ties in together as we go through different blocks and we go over these next 12 days, or shall I say today is day 6, so we're halfway there. With this 12 days to Christmas, it kind of ties into like building this person, or shall I say, giving you all the stepping stones and tools moving forward in the dating world, right? And so, yeah, and so to kind of tie them all together, and why I thought this was necessary, because as we always give out our opinions or advice in regarding dating, people might say, well, how does this apply to me? Because when you start to think about the different things that you desire in a partner, when you start to really date from a place of intention, right, then it's almost like you don't have to worry about coming across people that are sheep's and wolves clothing, or wolves in sheep's clothing, or dating the wrong person and realizing that you are repeating some of the same dating patterns. And then when you are really ready to date, or you're out here, you're realizing, why do I keep coming up with the same thing? Why do I keep attracting the same type of person? Rather, some of us like to date the bad boys or the people who are abusive in some kind of way, right? And so you have to really get an understanding of why is it that you tend to pick people like this, right? Or you tend to attract people like this. And you have to say to yourself, okay, am I the person that feels like I'm the caregiver? So if I am the caregiver and I'm aware that I'm not aware that I'm a caregiver, then I have this desire to fix everyone or make sure everyone's good. And so I'll repeat these same type of dating patterns and not really understanding that this is who I am as a caregiver. So now that I know I'm this way, so maybe I need to pivot a little bit, or maybe I need to change some things a little bit because maybe I don't want to be that person anymore. And like I said before, if you are that way and you're okay with it and you're aware of it, then hey, do you. But this is just if you want to make some changes in your life, right? Or do some things differently so that, you won't continue on with the same type of dating patterns that end up not being any good for you. And so, Ron, did you want to add something to that? You're on mute.
Yes, you covered it quite eloquently. Pretty much, this is just really, as we go into the first half. Even yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, we covered the love languages and also the human needs and how these tie into each other. And everything that Yashika and I covers is really, we need you to get this first part in
Mhm.
order. There really is a process to this. There really is a strategy to this. And again, we're providing the resources, but as I mentioned yesterday, it's not just about the resources, it's about the resourcefulness of using what we have. And we understand, and I think this is what was so pivotal, and is so pivotal about the 12 days, because we're going into the season which everybody knows many go into self reflection, you
Mhm.
know, and this is when you're talking about new beginnings. Now, and I've talked about this for year after year where we're saying, look, you don't have to wait till January 1st to start a new year. You can do this starting today. But we understand how people are wired and how they're used to and things of this nature. And of course, add some great food. You're wearing your best dress, best suit, and you're in an environment. And let's just say this place is just overlooking someplace incredible.
Mhm.
And somehow, with a little bit of libations, now the thoughts that you thought were too small are now just big enough, or maybe not big. But again, I'm saying all of this to say that now you're talking about a new beginning.
Right.
So this is why, as we're going into Christmas, and in that pivotal time between Christmas, should you celebrate or not, of just where it's recognized that between now and New Year's, and more specifically New Year's Eve, you can really reflect on this. And we're not expecting everybody to get this and what we're talking about this 12 days right up the front, right as we finish. We understand there's some processing time, there's some thinking time, there's some, frustration time. But see, the thing is that you're taking the time to say, okay, look, this is what Yashika covered, this is what Ronnie covered, and okay, so how can I use this together so that you have the synergy in order to take myself to another level? And
Mhm.
so here we are. When we talk about words of affirmation, quality time, physical touch, you know, acts of service, receiving gifts. What does that mean for you?
Mhm.
If you are someone who's a person and talking about the human needs, who's really big on variety, spontaneity, maybe you're looking for someone more who's of certainty, or someone who is about significance and how that plays into you.
Mhm.
And there's some growth that it may have happened during the year based on what challenges and victories you had to celebrate.
Yeah.
So this is very, very key, and especially this is why we talk about a compilation again, because we want to try to put all of this together. And it doesn't mean that you now have found it all, but
Right.
understand that this is a very, very key component, because this is something that I can assure you that Yashika will verify this, that many people skip over this part. And this is how you end up back in the same pattern and that same loop because you refuse to do some work on you. So please take this
Absolutely.
time, and not as a beat up session or to make you feel less than, but something to say, look, you know what? Okay, they've taken time out of their schedules to help me get the goal of what I want. Now, mind you, when we talk about dating in my space, for me, when I talk to people, they think I'm assuming, I verify, of course, that they're talking about dating towards marriage. They want something long term. So sometimes some of this may not apply to you if you're just dating for the sake of dating, a serial dater, if you will. But if you're looking for someone that you're looking to build a future with, I can assure you that there's a lot of value in what Yashika I shared with you these past 6 days and going forward for the next six.
Absolutely. And you brought up a good point, and I just wanted to reiterate some that I said the other day to the audience as well. When you're realizing your needs, and just like I made the comment about depending on where you are in your life, it's okay to go back and reevaluate your love language because depending on where you are in your love language may change, right? What you needed when you were younger may not be the same things that you need from someone when you get a little bit older. And this is the same thing when it comes to the person that you show up as, like whether you're the caregiver or the alpha, whatever. Sometimes this can be altered or changed because of where you are in your life. If you're going through something that's a little different, you're coming out of a recent relationship, or you reach a certain milestone in life. Maybe you're retired from a job, or kids are going off to college, or you suffered a loss or something like that. Sometimes we are at different places in our lives, and so because of it, our needs change. And so who we show up as sometimes change based on that need that we're trying to meet at that moment, right? And and sometimes that's not a bad thing. Sometimes you have to, because we evolve a little bit, and like I said, I was probably that person as a younger adult where I was the caregiver. I was the one that wanted to make sure that everyone was good, that everyone was taken care of, and I was the only one who had the answers to something that was broke or needed to be fixed. So it was me that was always taking care of that. Now, at the age that I am now, I'm the damsel in distress. I don't want to be the caregiver. I don't want to listen. I don't even want to think about anything. I want to just show up and be me. I don't want to do anything. But again, this is a little bit different than the way I was when I was younger because I thought that that's how I had to show up, being a strong woman, being never always keeping myself with the big S on my chest or whatever. I realize now that that's not how I need to show up. That's not how I have to be. But this is what I seen in my life with the women in my life. So I thought that this is what I was supposed to have done, and so I did that in my 20s. Definitely in my 20s. But now, head into 50. I'm the total opposite now. So and you mentioned something also, Ronnie, about the different type of people that we date, and you said something about the different, what's one is what, and that's another thing. Sometimes we have to also, as we go into our dating needs, and we talk about understanding what we need in our love language. I think we've mentioned this before, is that we have to also realize that some of the people that we meet are not necessarily meant to go with us the long haul. Sometimes people are just meant for, that right now, right then and right now. They're not necessarily the people that we're going long haul with. And so when we're talking about dating and looking for what you need, or asking for what you need, understand that you may be talking to different types of people. You know what I mean? Because the conversation that I have with, someone that I just want to go for a drink with, is not going to be the same person that I'm talking to in a way where, I'm talking about, possibly marrying this person or living my life with this person. These are two different people. Like, you have to know who you're meeting and why that person is in your life. And not everybody is meant to go the long haul. Like there's an old saying that says, sometimes people are in your life for a season. They're not there for, forever. They're just there for a season. So if it's cuffing season, that person may just be there for cuffing season. They're not meant to go to the altar with you. They may just be there for coffee season, and you have to realize that. But you have to be honest with yourself too, and not try to something that doesn't work to make it work. If you see the red flags there, understand what you're doing and what that person can provide. Because not everyone can be the best selves. Just because you're doing self improvement, that doesn't mean that everyone else is always working on themselves. You know what I mean? So it makes sense. It makes sense to me, But we'll find ourselves as coaches repeating these things over and over again to people.
Yes. Yeah, and it's good that you mentioned it because um, what I think is very key and will help many of you is that you use these same processes in deciding who you're going to spend your time with, even on a platonic level.
Hmm.
It may help in terms of feeling the environment of a particular a particular uh, career path, or the people in turn you want to go into business with. I mean, these are same things when you because you'll be surprised of how much, if just looking at the six human needs, what will drive that person's decision. Be it a friend or be it family or things of this nature. You can say, okay, that person certainty is very big on my this friend's life. And significant is very big on this life. And see that based on and see again. So once you determine that, remember, we also want to know how they go about getting those needs met.
Hmm.
Is it going to be positive? Is it negative? Is it very neutral? Now, again, in the search of a friend, let's just say let's take romance out of it, and let's just say it's a friend where you find someone who's real big on significance. Your friends with bigger significance. Now, here's how people can become significant. They can excel and achieve incredible things. But another way to gain significance negatively? Violence. Always the first to fight. You can create the tallest building by, let's just say the tallest building in time is 6 feet. You make a building 7 feet, or you can tear that building down, which will be negative, and make yours 4 feet. You'd still have the tallest building. See, again, these are the things that will help you assess the type of people you want to spend your 2022 and moving forward on.
Right.
So just from that and just assessing, the people that you go to work with, it will truly help you navigate in your relationships with these individuals. So even let's just say during this time you're taking a little break from dating, these little exercises as you listen to people, I don't know what, as you listen to people, will just say, you know what, wow, okay. Now, as you're sitting down to dinner, without even asking, you can say just based on the questions that you're asking, because now, based on the coaching you're getting from Yashika and me, you now would know what questions to ask. You can determine, like, this person is, real big on variety. Oh, this person, yeah, this person is about, you know, certainty. And what's important for me is this. Let's say how will that align, and let's see how they go about receiving the certainty. Let's see about they achieving this significant. Is it positive? Is it a negative? Oh, it's negative. Oh, see, I can't. Yeah, that person, that means their character and morals often doesn't align with me and what I'm doing. So again, thank you, Yashika, because again, it's not just in the dating. You can use this in terms of all the other types of relationship, and I believe we covered that. If I'm not mistaken, in day 3, we talked about the different relationships that we have as we move forward. So these are things that you can take forward into 2022.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we did talked about different type of relationships, because the relationship doesn't always have to be an intimate relationship. It could be, one that in a workspace, or romantic, or a family member, right? Just different types of relationships. Because, like I say, even when we talked about the person who's always the caregiver, if you are with all your friend girls, like if I'm a woman and I have a lot of girlfriends, I'm the one who will, if my role is caregiver, I'm the one that always makes sure that everyone has eaten before we start drinking, make sure that everyone has a ride home. That if that's my role, then I'll tend to be that way all the time. You know what I mean? Or it'll flip, like in the roles with my friend girls, I may very well be the caregiver. But then in a world with the role with an intimate partner, I may I may not be. I may be the opposite, So, but just be aware of how you show up. That's all. Not that you need to change or adjust, but if this is something that's not working for you, then all we're doing is giving you some tools or some different ways of looking at things so that moving forward, you could just be aware of these things and make those adjustments or those pivots if you feel that the way you've been showing before is no longer working for you. If you feel like your needs are not being met. I've heard people say in relationships, I just want to be this. I just want to be the woman. I just want somebody to consider me. I'm guilty of saying that. I want to be considered. I want somebody to consider me the way I consider that person. If you find yourself asking for those same things over and over again in a relationship, you have to ask yourself, what are you doing to cause people, or who are you picking? Who are the people you're picking that I always have to tell people I want to be considered, I want to be treated like, I want to be the woman, I want to be the girl, I want to be this, I want to be that. You have to think about how you're showing up and what type of people you're attracting. Because if you're attracting a certain type of people, then those people will always you will always be that way to them because you're not picking the people who complement the person that you want to be or the person that you're trying to be, right? So that's just a little, that's just us always working on ourselves. That's it. We just have to always work because we can't control everybody else. We can control ourselves. So
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Yeah, please keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Again, although we know that we still tend to get frustrated because the sometimes unrealistic expectation that we put on other people, and they're
Mhm.
just who they are. And so the better you get at saying, okay, you know what, let me just step back and let's just see how they move,
Mhm.
through life or their worldview, you can get an idea of what to expect from them and what not to expect. And it's not going to be 100% perfect each and every time, but at the very least, you'll have an idea for just in certain given certain situations how they're going to react and respond and all of that. So as we move into the next phase of this, I hope that many of you are taking notes. Because if you're not taking notes, I can assure you, well, then again, you can always come back and replay this and, but which want you to do nonetheless. But take notes. Trust me, the retention goes up significantly by taking notes. I take notes every time when I'm doing a little research. If there's some things that I figured I want to cover that I may forget to cover, even as Yashika's talking, I take notes because there's some things that maybe she covers that I figure will maybe good and add into whatever I'm going to say. So again, as we're going into the next phase of all of this, I hope you're taking notes. And again, I truly believe we have delivered some good things that I think that you can take so far for these first 6 days.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And thank you for that, Ronnie. And as we bring this segment to a close, this is also as we bring block two to a close. And so tomorrow, which is our day 7, we're over the halfway point. We are going to go into our block 3, which is flirt on. Flirt on, like the old the old R&B song, right? Float on, but flirt on, and that will last. That will go on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and so, and again, all these things kind of tie into each other so that you can really get the big picture. And we hope that we can bring you just some great tools and information that you can use moving forward, especially as we go into 2022. Um, and so, yeah, and this has been a nice one as always. And I love when we have these bits, because I know that, like you said, if a person just takes a little bit that we're saying in each of these videos and put them together, like it will be like an aha moment for so many people. Like, you know what? That's why this happened, or
Yes.
that's why. Because even when I listen to us talk and when I listen to us collaborate, because we're having honest conversations, we're having real conversations. It allows me to reflect on things that I've done in my life, or situations that I've been on in my life, and I can remember when this happened or that happened. And it really allows me to say, okay, these are the things that I've been through in order to get to where I'm at now. And so 99% of what I'm talking about literally comes from a place of my own journey. my own discovery, my own obstacles, my own heartbreaks and heartaches and just or me listening to someone or just whatever, just things that I wish that I had a known or someone had told me. But then again, maybe not, because I wouldn't be who I am today had I had the answers to everything. So who knows?
Yes.
That's one of those points that you can say, well, I needed to be here. I needed to
Mm.
be here. So anyway, Ronnie, this has been great. Did you have any parting words before we
Well, I
end
just
this
want to just
session?
remind everyone that again, we're this is not rehearsed. Yashika and I, we come on the horn, we just let it go. I mean, we plan out the things that we're going to talk about, but what comes out of her mouth, what comes out of our mouth, is just years of experience, personally and professionally. And so, what you're seeing us back and forth is just playing off of each other's energy and the knowledge and wisdom that we're both sharing. And also, remember that this is something that we've taken upon in our lives. So when we're sharing, this is not just a bunch of theory. This is something that we've experienced. Things there's directions that we've gone that still in the end served us. We believed it served us, and we accept that the problems happened for us and not to us. And so what we're sharing for something is proven, tried, and true. So again, we thank you for the support. But don't forget that you can reach us at datingdiscussions.com if you wish to reach out to Yashika for a coaching. There's also information on me. So if you wish to reach out to me for a coaching consultation, as well as for both of us as well. And you see the Cash App, as you see, there's no commercials, and we just go straight, no chaser, and we give you the resources. So any support that you provide to us, or even as Yashika said, just a cup of coffee, is great. It was great, and we do appreciate the time, the questions, the input as we go forward into the next phase of this pretty much mini masterclass. I will say.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. And Bonnie, I appreciate you. And
I
don't forget, you
appreciate you.
guys, catch us tomorrow. As like I said before, we go into our next block with this flirt on. And as we continue on our 12 days till Christmas. Ronnie, you enjoy the rest of your evening. And everyone else out there, you do the same. And I'll talk to you guys in the next segment. Bye.
Take care, everybody. Take care. Talk to you later, Yashika.